Wine is a royal drink. The quality and flavor of wine are determined by the grapes, climate, the technology used to obtain the final product, and storing methods. Grape types have greater coloring and other invaluable characteristics than their other counterparts. That's why they may serve as excellent raw materials for all kinds of strong and sweet wine. Due to the geographic conditions of Armenia, an average of 1,800 meters above sea level, about 5,900 feet, the mix of rocky soils and the abundance of sunshine, Armenian grapes have a high sugar content and a special aroma. The history of vineyards and their cultivation goes back to the times of Patriarch Noah. Wild grapes were cultivated in the Bronze Age. Armenia is an ancient country. It is known not only as the first Christian country in the world, but also as amongst the oldest centers of winemaking. Viticulture and viniculture have been inseparable parts of Armenia throughout the centuries. There are more than 200 grape varieties in Armenia. Many of them are indigenous to the country. It is by no means sheer luck that wild grapes were cultivated in the Armenian highlands during the early periods of the Bronze Age, 6,000 years ago. Winemaking, a most ancient Armenian culture. Noah, a man of the soil, was the first to plant a vineyard. And in the 7th month of the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Many manuscripts and archaeological artifacts testified to the Armenians' winemaking tradition. Antique clay jars, decanters, funnels, and filters have been found in Armenia. As far as the 9th to 7th centuries BC, the Urartians, Armenian inhabitants, had a developed vine-growing and winemaking culture. Assyrian cuneiform inscriptions, cellars, numerous large wine jars, winemaking accessories, as well as brimstones unearthed during excavations at Karmir-Belur, Red Hill, bear witness to this. Urartian citadels and other domestic buildings had wine cellars and huge pitchers on which, as a rule, their capacity units were mentioned in the cuneiform. During the excavations at Karmir-Belur, which is a suburb of the capital of Armenia, Yerevan, more than 400 wine jars were found with cuneiform inscriptions on each of them. They had a capacity of 800 to 1200 liters, 211 to 317 US gallons. This shows that winemaking was a large-scale industry on this territory some 3,000 years ago. The remnants of grape seeds in some antique jars are those that are common varieties in Armenia: Voskehat, Kharji, Meskhali, Karandamak, and etc. A block of sulfur found in an ancient cellar proves that ancient winemakers were familiar with the use of sulfur in winemaking. The Arani variety grows only 500 hectares, 1,250 acres of land and only near Arani village. During the 6th to 4th centuries BC, the Armenian kingdom was under Persian rule, and among other valuables, Armenians had to present the Persian royal court with high-quality wines as a form of tax payment. Ancient Greek sources testify about Armenia being a renowned winemaking center. In his histories, Herodotus, the 5th century BC historian, mentions about Babylonian tradesmen who bought the wine in red pitchers, transported it along the Tigris River to Babylonia, and then returned to Armenia by way of land to get more. In his Anabasis, Xenophon, the 4th century BC strategist and historian, refers to aromatic old wines when describing the retreat through Armenia of the 10,000 soldiers of the Greek army. He records that as a token of trust towards the Greek soldiers, Armenian peasants told them where their wine pitchers were buried. Another Greek author and geographer, Strebonis, tells about the Arax Valley with its abundant grape crops. In his geography written 2300 years ago, he mentions about wine glasses of great artistic value which the Armenian noblemen used. The bas-reliefs of Akhtamar's Saint Khach, Saint Cross monastery represent fine examples of everyday life scenes, including hunting, winemaking, and idyllic writing, with crowning the whole set, the sculpture of King Gagik drinking wine seated under a grapevine, symbolizing wisdom and creation. Armenian miniature paintings, valuable material findings unearthed during excavations of medieval towns, give us important information about developed winemaking industries in the Middle Ages. Winemaking prevailed especially in Ayrarat, Vaspurakan, Aghzenik, Minor Haik, Artsakh, and Syunik. According to Armenian miniature paintings, all known biblical events occur either around wine tables or at vineyards. Grape and wine play a significant role in medieval Armenian sculpture. It is with wine that objects like crosses, crosshairs, and sacred images or icons have usually been cleaned. Vineyards and wine-pressing sites have as a rule been included in ancient Armenian church complexes. A special wine blessing ritual in the Armenian Apostolic Church calendar marks the ripening of grape crops, while during marriage ceremonies the newlyweds are offered to drink neat wine. Patterns of grapes and vineyards can also be found in bas-reliefs of contemporary architectural buildings, thus linking the old tradition with the modern times. Armenian wine is today made by the best of traditional ways. There are produced strong and dessert wines. They are all highly competitive in the international market. Armenian wine is exported to the Russian Federation, the USA, the CIA, and Baltic republics and Europe. If you happen to visit Moscow or London, drop in at the Azbuka Vkusa or Armenia stores in the former and the Vinopolis exhibition in the latter to taste Armenian wine, the most ancient drink of the world. We join you with a warm toast, wishing you a long life, happiness, and peace.